Eventful year for us, full of challenges, but also achievements and opportunities. For those who do not know anything about us, the Island of TeX started as a small group of two friends trying to improve the tech ecosystem. Nowadays, the island acts as a friendly hub to community-based tech-related projects. So gather around the bonfire, for a new adventure is about to unfold. And keep in mind, a sword has no strength unless the hand that holds it has courage. Last year, we introduced the island's Docker images for easily reproducible builds, as well as a semi-official response to the need for continuous integration. Our images were among the first used in vanilla TechLive, providing the required tools for running software included in TechLive, for example, Java Virtual Machine, Python, and so forth. Additionally, we provide TechLive releases from 2014 on and let the user decide whether they want to pull all the documentation and source files into their CI configuration. Of course, full TechLive is still rather large, about 2 GB for the base image without documentation and sources. Many users will prefer to build more minimal installations with only a subset of packages, as pulling 2 GB per CI run is still rather large. For data oblivious setups where a document should be compiled, however, our images are very suitable. Earlier this year, we even had a user describing how he locally used our Docker images to replace a typical TechLive installation. For those interested, we provide a wiki with guides for this use case. With attention came the idea to more officially publish our images as TechLive/TechLive, which we gladly did. Now we are managing the releases at Docker Hub as well. Docker Hub is the world's largest repository of container images with an array of content sources including container community developers, open source projects, and independent software vendors building and distributing their code in containers. Although unnoticed at first, we even saw Dante, the German-speaking tech user group, basing their Docker images on ours. Thank you very much for trusting our builds, and special shout out to Oliver Kopp for helping us improve our image packaging. Apart from applications in continuous integration, the Docker images have lured us into creating another tool based on them. TechDoc Online is the successor to TechDoc.net, which now redirects. This tool provides a RESTful API for TechDoc. A RESTful API is a stateless interface to web applications, responding to typical HTTP requests with uniform responses. Usually, JSON is used for the response format. Following this principle, our software responds to HTTP GET requests with JSON representing documentation-related objects. There are several endpoints you can access. The front end of TechDoc Online is structured in a similar way to TechDoc.net. The main feature is still searching for packages. Topics are handled differently, though. We use Citan's JSON API to fetch their topics and packages belonging to these topics. Any user visiting the landing page will be shown 6 random categories with a few packages each. If a category holds several packages, 4 of them are selected at random. Users have the option to show all topics and list the packages for any topic they are interested in. Also, each package entry can be automatically queried for documentation. Deploying the software is straightforward. you can get an executable jar file with all dependencies included that you can simply run using your local Java installation. Running the jar bundle will open a local web server that can be accessed from your browser. As an alternative to running the jar file, we also provide a Dockerized image. This image is based on our TechLive images, which makes it quite large in terms of file size, but also eliminates the need for a local tech installation. Using Docker is the preferred solution for hosting your own instance of TechDoc Online. The Docker image also provides daily updates. The container will update daily at midnight and thus stays up to date as long as the current version of TechLive is supported. Our continuous integration ensures that you can always pull the latest tag and receive the latest and greatest tech documentation, which when pulled and run will update itself. To ease deployment, we provide a ready-made configuration for Docker Compose, an orchestration tool for Docker containers. It uses the Caddy web server to provide automatic HTTPS with local certificates, or on public domains, Let's Encrypt certificates. Our software is running at TechDoc.org, courtesy of Stephen Kotvitz. Thank you very much, Stephen. After finishing TechDoc Online to a production-ready degree, the Island turned to the development of another hand tool, Albatross. This command line tool, with a silly yet adorable name, solves a very common problem, finding system fonts that provide a certain glyph. Users may provide the glyphs themselves or their corresponding Unicode code points in hexadecimal notation. In this example, Albatross will list all fonts containing @, including styles available for each font as well as type and path. We are planning further enhancements, so Albatross might become the authoritative tool for inspecting fonts in the near future. CheckSites is a tool for checking missing or unused references. We finally migrated it from my personal repository to the Island. We also decided to rewrite it from Lua to Kotlin. This is still a work in progress. And we are also going from a monolithic implementation to a modular one, which is also a work in progress. The current implementation has everything contained in one big block. We are moving to a modular approach in which we have a proper bibtech parser and a command line interface. The ultimate goal for our bibtech parser is to produce native code for all major operating systems alongside with a Java virtual machine compliant bytecode for major vendors, as well as a JavaScript backend. We finished version 5, a major rewrite from Java to Kotlin, mainly working on features from user feedback, especially directory support and the processing of multiple files. We got hooked by the idea of aligning release schedules of Arara with TechLive releases, enabling us to make small breaking changes more often. So we had big plans and started to work on version 6 right away after releasing version 5. As with CheckSites, we walked the extra mile and Arara went from a monolithic implementation to a modular one, plus an enhanced feature set and optimized workflow. In version 5, the implementation had everything contained in one big block. In version 6, we made a split between an API, a core implementation, the engine, and a command line interface application to separate concerns. This was the first step in the direction of splitting out components that are bound to one platform. Additionally, we hope to enable other people to develop their own tools based on the Arara libraries, if they wish to. With multiple library components, this should be easy. The developers of the Texify IDEA plugin expressed their interest in this to integrate proper Arara support in Texify. Preambles are the user's way of not writing a rule yet reusing certain directives. Up to now, preambles have been prepended to the file regardless of it containing other directives. Now, they are more configurable. One can check whether directives are given or even set a preamble as default if no directives are given. That way, Arara can be set as the default compiler in your editor, and you can even compile before having inserted any Arara directive. Of course, this destroys the portability Arara directives used to create. Please do not get lazy and specify directives in documents you want to share. In previous versions, the only way to communicate with Arara in rules and directives were environment variables and file I/O. This made automated builds only configurable with writing on rules, which some users tend to avoid for simple directive patterns. In version 6, we introduced a new command line parameter to allow specifying command line options to be passed to Arara's session map. In this example, we can get the options from the command line directly to rules or directives. Keep in mind that environment variables are also available in the session map through the corresponding namespace. The next feature is the expansion within directives, with support for session, reference, and base name. The new command line parameters are one of the few commands that have been made available within the list elements from the options key. For quite some time, Arara has been a very powerful tool. With some of the new changes, for instance, letting the user specify a full path anywhere on the file system to place the log file at, the wishes for a safe mode seemed very sensible. Now, Arara features a safe mode. Currently, the following features are restricted. File lookup is limited to an exact match only, so no file name patterns. Unsafe executions raise an exception and abort the run. And expansion within directives is disabled, so values are treated as literals. All this does still provide no real safety because Arara still executes what the user tells it to execute, especially shellscaping and so forth are still allowed. Hence, the safe mode will only restrict Arara internal features, which is important to understand. We will work on further improvements in that area. However, we will not try to restrict the availability of system commands. Version 6 brought rule improvements as well, especially safety and optimization. The default key now behaves as user input, so expansions are not supported anymore. In custom rules, that means that any argument processing logic should be in the flag and default is treated as input to flag as in any user input from directives. The flag key itself now returns a list of strings for type consistency. Last but not least, the shorthand notation deprecated in version 5 has been removed. It is worth mentioning that rules included in the core distribution have been renamed to have a unique prefix in the TechMF tree. File names should not be relied upon. One of the most prominent problems with Arara has been the lack of good introductory material, especially as the manual has grown. Hence, we now provide a quick start guide for new users. You are more than invited to meet Peter, the Antier, and his parents. If you do not use Arara yet, maybe this guide is for you. We also renamed the user documentation to Reference Manual and provided a new landing page with updates and release notes. The new landing page is available at islandoftech.gitlab.io/arara. For version 7, we want to take larger steps towards platform independence. Hence, we will make use of Kotlin multi-platform to use a single code base for all target platforms. Some components will have to be rewritten. Some need different interfaces for different platforms, but in the end, we hope to provide an even more multi-talent tool. Up to now, Arara has been developed as a file-based build tool. The tool does not track dependencies nor does it manage projects. You throw a file at it and it makes the best out of it. We are evaluating support for projects and dependencies. Other feature candidates include cleaner logs and granularity switches, new DSL-based rules and configurations, and better integration with existing workflows. We are planning the stabilization of the current projects and implementation of new modular components, as well as improving support for our tools by producing native executables by means of Kotlin Native, a technology for compiling Kotlin code to native binaries without the need of a JVM, languages like Rust and similar modern technology. We also have challenges. For starters, hardware limitations for development and testing. The development happens on Linux machines. Incidental issues specific to Windows or Mac OS are handled through voluntary testing from users who sometimes do not have development expertise. The lack of such systems in the development pool poses a problem and can hinder the long-term goals for better coverage and interoperability. Also, the island has no documentation team, so we need to cover all fronts during development and release, not to mention the limited number of active developers and contributors. So we kindly ask the tech and software community for help in any way possible. And as always, thanks for the patience with us. We have many plans and hope to realize as much as possible. The island is a vibrant environment for the development of tech-related tools. We want to enhance the user experience from newbie to expert and promote use and diffusion of modern methodologies and technologies. If you are interested in helping us develop ideas or even implementing some code, visas for the island are free and easy to get, so feel free to reach out. The Island of TeX is hosted at Gitlab, whom we thank for providing us with a premium plan. It's highly appreciated. I would like to take the opportunity and say hi to my friends at Overleaf. It's been an honor to be part of this loving family. That's all from me today. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Cheerio!
Well, thank you, Paulo. Thank you
very
guys.
much.
Oh, I see Takuto asking how the arara libraries can be used. Kotlin generates JVM compatible code. It's for the virtual machine, so you can use in Java, in the Java ecosystem. It could be like Scala, Clojure, and what else? Kotlin, Java itself. And regarding Lua, we might use Kotlin to try to generate native libraries as well. So we probably could use the interface, the native interface, to using those libraries as well. So we are still trying to figure out how things will go, because this multi-platform business is a new ground for us. But we're looking forward to good things in the near future regarding this area. Oh, thanks for the appreciation. Thanks. I hope you guys enjoyed our projects. No more questions. Oh, thanks. It's for those who do not know too much of video games. It's from The Legend of Zelda. It's a medley from The Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda is the game franchise. It's now 35-year anniversary this year, so I thought it would be like a great tribute. And it's very nice. It's a jazzy theme. Yes, and Albatross has a silly name and is, of course, a tribute to Monty Python. Monty Python has a sketch named Albatross, and since it has everything related to an island, we decided to use that name, and it seems to get a lot of traction recently. So thank you. No more questions. So I think that's all from me. Oh yes, and thanks, Stefan, for registering a domain for us. So now we have a shortcut, islandoftech.org. It redirects you to our GitLab page. So thank you very much, Stefan. It's highly appreciated. Danke sehr schön. Vielen Dank. I think that's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Paulo. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody involved in the TUG organization. It's highly appreciated.
Okay.